Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Podfluxxx, episode number 15. As always, it's me, K-Fresh, Kevin Fulton. The very surprised look on the face of the Cuban crippler, Ricky Reyes. Ricky, we've made it 15 weeks. How about that?
And we haven't been kicked off you got kicked off Twitter, but the internet in general is still functioning with us in it.
Right. So we're
We're
I guess
okay.
we're okay. We're doing all right. Turns out we're not as shitty of people as we thought we were.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
So we got a bunch of stuff to go over here this week. We had an interesting episode and episodes and editing situation last week that delayed us. We're a little bit delayed this week, but hopefully it'll only be by like an hour and a half or so. But the end of the Owen Hart tournament has happened. Collision was back on. Apparently there was a Battle of the Belts, which they conveniently forgot to advertise again. Kota Ibushi has arrived in AEW, and there's been a venue and a date set for All Out 2023. So we're just going to jump in and we're going to get started. And Ricky, what do you want to start with? Oh, I forgot one thing. And we've got our follow-up to last week's episode where I've compiled a list with research done by my buddy James of where all these people that Triple H re-signed this year or last after Vince took a walk, where they are and what they're doing. So where do we want to start?
Let's go to that list. We'll just bust through that real quick.
All right, cool. This list. Now, should we go through the entirety of the list, or should we say a person, talk about them, and I think we should go through the list, and if something hits us, we'll stop and discuss it.
Yeah.
All right. First up on this list, we're going to start with Braun Strowman. Remember, he was released right as the pandemic was getting started. Apparently, he wanted a ton of money or was making a ton of money, and they were like, not so worth it, and they cut him loose. They then brought him back.
Right.
And didn't really do anything with him.
Yeah, they re-debuted him or whatever, and then they teamed him with Ricochet, right? And then he got hurt. And then, I don't know. I know a lot of those guys that they let go, right, was cost cutting. Like, wasn't that a Nick Khan situation where he came in as the bad cop, and just fired people that had pretty high contracts, right? I think that was, I believe it was purpose of the sale, right? Like to cut out all that extra overhead that they had. But I mean, Strowman, I mean, what are you going to do with him that we haven't already seen? You know, like he's a big guy that doesn't do much, limbers around. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, you take a guy like that, you can almost say the same thing for Omos. And if you would have used him in the capacity of a special attraction,
he
still could have had a special attraction, but they put him on TV every week. Bumps around, you know, Brock Lesnar knocked his temple through the other side of his head.
Yeah.
But he's out. I believe he just had a neck fusion surgery.
Oh shit.
So
for a while.
I guess he won't be throwing Ricochet around for a while.
Yeah.
Now, the next name I have on this list is another considered top tier, bigger star compared to most of them on the list, but there's also Bray Wyatt.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan when he left, you know, and I don't think that they're missing much with him being gone. I believe he's done again from what they're saying or what's been out there. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't know what to think with that guy, because who knows what was told to him to do and he had to do, and what's all his idea exactly. And what this is supposed to all be for him. I don't know,
Right.
but I mean, at this point, it's a waste. Like if he's not let go by now, he should be, because why keep paying him for a bunch of start and stop, and then I guess he had some mental issues that he wanted to address and needed time away. And if you're just going to keep doing that, what's the point?
I found it interesting that when he was released, he was saying that he had creative differences with them, and that he didn't like the creative that
Mm,
Vince McMahon was giving him. And then he
mm.
came back, and it was seemingly to us that he was in charge of his own creative, and it still wasn't very good.
Dude, I don't know whose call that was for the Rumble match with LA Knight,
Mm-hmm.
but that was awful. Like it was a bad match in general, like all the way around. And if that was his idea, and if that's what he was trying to do and more of, then he's an idiot. Yeah, I don't know. It was bad. I'm glad LA Knight didn't get too much on him and rebounded well from that, because I was really, after I saw that match, I thought, man, they may have doomed LA Knight for
Yeah, I
good.
thought he was. I thought he
Yeah,
was dead.
oh, for sure.
All right, the next name on that list is Bronson Reed.
Uh,
Now, Bronson
Brunson
Reed
is
was good.
he's getting over, right? From what I understand.
Yes,
Uh,
despite them, he's getting over.
yeah, it seems like um, the thing about him, like I worked with him in New Japan, and he he's that throwback all the way around. Like he looks how he wrestles and wrestles how he looks. So there's
Right,
not a whole lot there you have to put some smoke and mirrors around for. He is what he is, a big brute, and in order to like get him off his feet, guys got to work for it, which all makes sense. As a character, he knows how to keep himself up and strong, and that's why he's getting over, because there's no bullshit there. He just needs that one. I think he just needs that one big win over like a upper level main event guy, and he could be a major player, because he's a big guy that moves well, but he doesn't like overdo it in the sense of
right,
like always bumping. He registers well. He's got a good mind for wrestling. He's a guy that is interested in the history of wrestling. I one time it was a Kevin Kelly, Bronson Reed, and uh, um, Davari. We were all in a car together, and we were just talking about old wrestling. And he just kept coming up with like the old '90s All Japan guys, Kobashi and Vader, and you could tell that was what he was. What you could tell now, that's what he's trying to emulate out there. So
right.
I think he'll be a good heavyweight for a long time. I think.
I agree, and the only thing they're doing with him that I don't like is they do these weird like vignettes with him where he's dressed in a suit and he talks about how his mother said he was such a nice guy or whatever, but that makes him. I don't know if they're going for like a "don't mistake my kindness for weakness" kind of a deal. I don't know. It's
Uh,
weird. I'd rather they didn't do that and they just let him go to the ring
yeah.
and do what he does. But the next name on this list is Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's been brought back in just the last few months.
Okay.
You know what? I dig it, man, because she's doing this Karen gimmick, and
Mm,
it's goddamn hysterical. There
yeah.
was on Raw the other night, like she was talking about like they were talking about basketball or something, and she was like, "Touchdown, sports talk, yeah, bitch," and I was like, "Okay," like it was ridiculous, but it like she plays it off well. But she was another one that was released a while back, and then Triple H brought her back in, and she's actually getting used on television.
Yeah, I haven't heard much. I know she got hurt again, and I know she gets hurt pretty regularly.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, but there's, I mean, I get it, like being brought back and like you want to be used and everything. I get that, but you know, that's kind of like a mid-card comedy skit only type of deal, right? So there's a pretty low ceiling for that. So I mean, yeah, there's time and place for that, and she serves that purpose. That's cool, but I don't see very much in her as far as like feuding with Charlotte or or anybody else. Like,
not
you
in the
know,
current iteration of her character.
yeah, definitely not. And as I met her in our fourth season of Lucha Underground. She came in as part of Impact's like talent trade. She's very small. Like I could see why she gets hurt. She's like very like delicate looking, and she's always out there trying to do everyone's shit for them instead of maybe just wrestling more her style of wrestling. I think she's one of those like, yeah, let's do your stuff because I don't have stuff. Instead of being confident and like doing something that makes her get over more, she's one of those, and I think that's one of the reasons why she gets hurt, maybe. But
Well,
yeah.
speaking of fragile, the next name on this list is Dakota Kai. And if I've ever seen somebody on TV that looks like they need to eat a sandwich and quite possibly a chalupa, it's Dakota Kai. She's the third girl in Bailey's group.
Okay.
She's the one that I think she just blew her knee out, I think, in the same spot where another girl hurt her shoulder. The girl's shoulder was hurt, and she was doing top rope Meteora ride, and she tried to pull up to not land on the girl's shoulder and blew her knee out.
Oof.
But she was another one that was they brought back awkwardly at SummerSlam to be in Bailey's group, and then made it seem like they were going to do something with, but kind of never really did.
Yeah. Okay.
She got a tag run with the Japanese girl.
Sky, Leo Sky.
Thank you. That wasn't a qualifier. It was just
Yeah, I remember now.
A describer. Is that a word? All right. But I could have lived without. I don't see a reason why they would have went out and worked that hard to bring that girl back.
Right.
The next name on the list is Dexter Lumis. And they brought him back. Remember, he creeped the Miz out, and then they did something about the Miz's balls. And then he was just gone. So he's currently not even on TV.
Oh.
So they brought him back. They did about a month, maybe 6 weeks worth of stuff with him. And then we just haven't seen him since.
Huh. Yeah, that's true.
You have any thoughts on Dexter Lumis?
No, I don't get it. No.
I will say, feel free to Google him later. And then when you do, take the white side of your hand and put it over his hair, and he's the goddamn spitting image of Steve Austin. I don't know why nobody's noticed that yet. Eventually they will. They'll do something with it, and I'll just be right again. Now, I've got a name on this list that I included, even though he wasn't actually released. Okay? But Elias. They took Elias off TV around that time, right?
Okay.
And then they did nothing with him. And then they used him on TV more effectively than they ever did as his brother. Remember, they shaved him and changed his name to something different that started with an E?
Yes.
And they actually pushed him. And then they changed it back. And he was on TV once, got his mouth pissed in, and I haven't seen him since. So I count him. It's as good as being released. And then there's the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I pulled something up before. I think they were just back on TV for the first time in hang on a second. I've got it right here. They were on TV in the first week of June. Oh no, that was a dark match. All right, they were on TV about a month ago, and then before that, they were on TV the week before, and then they hadn't been on TV in months.
For I think Saudi Arabia, right?
Right.
Because that's when they were doing when they just came back with AJ, and
AJ got hurt.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. I was trying to think. They did Saudi Arabia, and it looked like they were going to do more, and then AJ got hurt.
Right, and Gallows had to go back to Japan to defend that title, and that was November of last year.
No, yeah, he. So didn't he drop it at the Dome? So they were off TV by then.
Yeah,
because I think that's when it. Yeah, because Saudi Arabia date and the date New Japan wanted were like in the same weekend.
Yeah, same day almost.
Yeah, and then I think he had to go back in January, and then that was it. They've been off since for like 6-7 months now. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's not too much you can do with those guys. You know, they've kind of like painted them into a corner a little bit with the way they use them.
Thing and
yeah, they kind of like. I mean, unless you're gonna if you're pushing AJ and you want them to be as heaters, I guess, you know. But I don't know how long that really lasts in their world, you know.
Is one good without the other?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you mean AJ and them? Or
No. I mean Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Gallows is a typical big man that like knows his size, very Kevin Nash-ish.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you let Anderson go on his own, I mean, he can work with the best of them, but do they want to do that? I don't know. I feel like they're just kind of like happy being a tag team, and I feel like they just want to keep doing that. But
yeah, you got to think at one point though, somebody's going to start looking to see what they can do to get on TV a little more, and
you would hope. I would,
be used prominently.
Yeah, I would think Carl would want to break off at some point and do his own thing, even feuding with AJ somehow, or I don't know. But I mean, he could have awesome matches with a lot of different guys, and he could be utilized so much better. But I mean, it's really up to them, right? I mean, it seems like when they came back, they had some incentives put in, like as far as, what you do with them. So who knows really.
And then another one I have on this, it's actually another two. Now, I don't know if they were released or if their contract expired and they just waited a while to re-sign because they gave birth. But Gargano and Candice LeRae. Now, when Gargano, I'm going to tell you what I think happened in general, right? NXT was fantastic. Everything was great.
Right.
And then one day Vince McMahon showed up in Orlando, and he was like, well, let me go watch this NXT thing. Growl. And he walked in the door and saw Johnny Gargano and was like, nope, fuck this, fuck you, fuck that. And that's when they changed the whole NXT deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Triple H lost NXT. Okay.
Right.
And then Gargano went away. Vince went away. Gargano showed up on Raw. They were using him, okay? They were using him on Raw. Yeah. And then Vince came back, and now he's on a milk carton.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I saw that when he debuted or re-debuted on Raw, whatever you want to call. I just thought, what a waste, man. He does not belong there at all. NXT Black and Gold was his height, you know. I'm not a fan of Gargano. Never have been ever. His wife, same. She's the same thing. Like not good, not believable. I don't know. It's just I don't know. That's a big. Does he know where the bodies are? Is that why he keeps popping back up? There's something there. Somebody sees something, but the rest of the world does not. So, this could be I don't know what.
When the whole thing happened with Joey Ryan, right?
Yeah.
I was really surprised that Candice LeRae didn't get any of that on her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For being like so closely affiliated and a tag team partner, and they did the suplex where she would grab,
Mm-hmm. Well, Joey,
and I just thought.
But Joey's thing that he got in trouble for was outside the ring stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone knew that. I think her and Johnny were already married by then, or at least together at that point. And I feel like the fans, those smart fans, felt like she was like their person that they were trying to push and like get over. Like she was so over with that fan base
Absolutely.
that she wasn't going to get any honor,
Yeah. I just thought that she could have very, very easily ended up being collateral damage in that.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but I just don't. I don't know. She's a really nice person. Like I've met her a bunch of times, and she seems great. But I mean, like Gargano, he's not a bad guy at all. He's a little too nerdy for my taste. But that's how both of them kind of are. So yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was an FWE wrestling.com show, and somebody was like, "Oh man, Johnny Wrestling's here tonight," and I had no idea who Johnny Gargano or Johnny Wrestling was, and I was like, "Oh, who's that?" And they pointed at him, and I was like, "That guy." Like that guy's name is Johnny Wrestling.
Yeah.
He had this weird mop haircut, and he looked so hungry. And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." It was odd, but anyway, the next group on this list, okay. Actually, before we go there, because that one's fun, so we're gonna go to one that you're not even gonna know who I'm talking about. And honestly, if you put her in a lineup with 6 other girls that looked remotely close to her, I don't think I'd be able to pick her out. But Tegan Knox, she's another one that blows her knees out. In
she's an Australian chick, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. I've seen the name, and I just kept remembering she had really bad knee issues, and I was shocked when they brought her back because I remember seeing the name and I thought, they brought her back? Like, isn't she damaged goods now? Like,
right. I don't know how many ACLs that company is willing to pay for on the same person, but I think she's on 3.
Yeah, seriously.
The next group, oh man, Hit Row. They released all 4 of these people, right? They released Swerve Strickland, Ashante Adonis, B-Fab, and Top Dollar.
With an A.
And then they brought them back without Swerve Strickland, which, let's be honest, is going to be the one to be something out of that group.
Right.
And they pushed them on TV for like 3 weeks, and then they've just been beating them senseless ever since.
Well, the thing with that is without the
Swerve.
What's that?
Without Swerve?
Yeah, without Swerve, that thing doesn't work because he's directing, he's putting everybody where they need to be. He's quarterbacking that whole issue. The look, the attitude, everything about it was a Swerve thing, I can guarantee. And it's showing, right, without him. Right. Because now even all of them together can't do what Swerve did, right? So and that's the business mind. That's because I remember Swerve showed up as like surprise opponent for Jay White in New Japan, and I was asking about it. I was asking him about what happened, and he was saying, he goes, "Man, we were going good and getting over." He goes, and then I just get a call, I'm fired, and I could not believe it, and I was like, "No, like you had to have seen something or heard something," and he was like, "Nope." And that just tells you it was so far up the ladder, you know, when they had this list of people that they were getting rid of. They're just looking at dollars and cents, numbers.
Yeah.
Everyone's a name and number, right?
That's it. Not even a name. Everybody's a number.
Just a number, right? And it's just like, get rid of this overhead, sell the company, and then if some come back, great. If not, no big deal. But yeah, with Swerve in that group, it worked. It was getting over, and I can guarantee you, knowing Swerve, that he was not going to go out there and have a bad match or put anybody in a position to do anything bad and or stupid in a match. So,
right.
And you see what happens when, you know, the cat's away, the mice will play type of deal. Now they're like, you know, the blind leading the blind in there, and nothing's getting over. So they should have just not brought them back at all. Right. Because what's the point? Now they're gonna be like, okay, it's not working, job them all out, and then we'll release them later. Right. You're just wasting money and time. Like, I feel like a couple of these might have been just, hey, let's just not let AEW have these people.
Yeah, like, but I mean, there's a few people on this list outside of, like, you know, I would say Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt. And you can't even say the Good Brothers, because they went there and AEW used them almost less effectively than the WWE did. That it's just like, these aren't the AEW's picked up way bigger stars from WWE than anybody else on this list, and has done jack all of shit with them.
Because they don't know what they're doing even worse than these bad writers in WWE.
Right. So I feel like anybody on this list outside of maybe Bray Wyatt, maybe Braun Strowman, just because of what he looks like, and there's going to be somebody in the AEW locker room that knows how to use that properly. Like, you could have put all these people in a box and sent them there, and Tony Khan wouldn't have known. Yeah. You know, they wouldn't have known what to do with them. Half of these people that they're not using on TV, I feel like if we never saw them again, half the fan base wouldn't even realize.
Right.
Anyway, Mia Yim is on this list. She's been used as part of the OC stuff, so she's still been on TV. And then there's Karrion Kross and Scarlett, man, and Karrion Kross, I don't know if he smells or I don't know what the deal is, but he was a killer in Impact. He was a killer in NXT. They put him on the main roster. He lost to Jeff Hardy in 2 minutes, and then they fired him like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And then they brought him back, and it's just been, you know, nothing.
Yeah. It's got to be a creative thing, because how do you not see, I don't know, like with the guy that size and moves that well, and then a bunch of people were shitting on him because he lost to AJ kind of like flat.
Yeah.
You know, so they were really shitting on him then. Like,
he's lost every feud he's been involved in since he's been back.
Yeah, I noticed that. And it's not like each guy was elevated to, like, you know, the next world title run or you know, at least challenging for it. It just seems like they just don't have, they probably just don't know what to do with them. I'm not sure. I
wonder how much of this is Mark Merrow retread. If they're just wanting to do something with Scarlett, so they, you know, they signed him saw her, she came too, and
Right.
then it's,
We'll find out if they break up soon.
right. And then also on this list is Sarah Logan. She's with the Viking Raiders. They're calling her Valhalla, so that's probably got another 6 to 7 week shelf life. And then one I added that doesn't really count, but I think it should, is William Regal.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because they released Regal. He went over, saw the kind of pool he was swimming in, and then, was like, oh, I kind of need to go. And he dipped, but they can't put him on TV.
Right.
I know William Regal's not working or anything like that, but he was the matchmaker for NXT. But they basically brought him back and can't use him in any effective manner for like a whole nother year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's helping at the Performance Center, which is obviously his strong point.
Right.
What I would do would be wait until it is time to put him on television when he can be used, and then have him come in and be like, this NXT sucks. We're going back to the way it was,
Yes.
and have him tear off signs or, reintroduce the black and gold emblem, whatever it is.
Start blowing out light bulbs in that building.
Yeah, just start shooting out lights in the building. I don't know. And reintroduce NXT, and hopefully by that time they have maybe like 6 to 8 top indie guys signed, and maybe not, or at least, good wrestlers that they can, kind of rebuild that NXT. I don't know, like something like that. But other than that, I think he clearly went over there, was like, hey, this is just amateur hour. I'm out of here.
Right.
And he belongs. He's one of those guys that should be a Pat Patterson, that should just never, ever leave WWE for any reason. If anything, just send him home. But his mind is, I mean, he's out there playing chess, and they're playing checkers. He needs to be there. He needs to have his hands in whatever is the most important thing. Like right now, it's the bloodline. He needs to, I don't know whatever you want to label it. He needs to be talking with Roman every day and kind of giving him ideas or critiquing whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a real good use for him on and off television. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted right now because I've got this Battle of Belts on. All right, and for some reason they keep putting Taya Valkyrie on TV in their title matches, and she's nice looking. I'm sure she's a very sweet person. Anyway, so that's it for our list there. Our who are they now, or where are they now?
Mm-hmm.
So what we've got next, man, you want to get into a little bit of the fallout from Collision. I'm going to talk about that FTR
Sure.
BC Gold match. Did you watch it?
I did not watch it, but I heard and saw that it was amazing.
It was a pick 'em, man. You couldn't pick. By time I didn't realize what they were doing. Again, they were like a half hour in, and I was like, oh, these guys are going 60. They went like 58 or 59 minutes.
Wow.
Just 2 falls to 1. It was fantastic. Like, there were parts where you thought it was going to be a double count out on a fall. Like,
wow.
They were killing each other. It was a great match. Juice is fantastic. Juice is so fucking good. Cash like hits a double bicep on him. So he goes into the lat spread pose, but like he looks ridiculous while he's doing it. Oh man, and all I'm watching it and all I'm thinking is winner, winner, chicken dinner. And,
exactly.
So they ate up the whole first hour of the show.
Nice.
And then from there, and I just watched it. I don't remember anything that happened after it.
Mm-hmm.
But then they did the Punks and Stark match. Punk and Starks match.
Mm-hmm.
And Starks like worked heel, did a little bit of a heel change.
Mm.
He hooked the rope for leverage to get the pin on CM Punk. And they flew Jushin Thunder Liger to Calgary to present the trophy. You know what? I hope it wasn't Liger. I hope it was I hope it was Tony Khan in a Liger costume. Because
Which we
they
know he
flew
has a few
there
of
to
them.
present the trophy, and Starks walks up to him, snatches the trophy out of his hand, and then just keeps on going. And Liger's like, and that was it. Then the show goes off the air. And then apparently there was a Battle of the Belts on right after it that is, I think, going to be headlined by Shawn Spears versus Luchasaurus. And Lance Archer just showed up on TV for the first time in however many months to fight Orange Cassidy, which you can guarantee I didn't watch 1 second of.
Right.
And then they just had Tony Storm versus Taya Valkyrie, but who knew?
Yeah, well, like I said, Starks should win, and he did. I guess we'll tune in next week to see what his attitude problem is, apparently, if he's heelish. So maybe that was a quick and painless babyface run for him. So
yeah,
I just feel like a heel, I don't know, heel shouldn't have won. He should have turned heel because he lost. Then he'd have more heat. But I mean, I guess it'll be a bragging tool. Does he walk around with the Owen Cup like Owen walked around with the Slammies? I hope so.
That's what I was hoping. You know, they were kind of like, oh, he's channeling a little bit of Owen Hart here or whatever, you know, and it was like, I don't know. I mean, it was a good match.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything crazy or over the top, but I think it was exactly kind of what it needed to be. It was a good wrestling match, but it wasn't, you know, it's not going to go down as like the defining match of Ricky Stark's career or CM Punk's return.
He's not one of those guys that has that style match or understands how to have that style match yet. I don't think, but I'm sure it was what it needed to be because Punk put it together that way. I'm sure.
Right.
And I mean, Starks is good too, but Starks needs some heat, some story behind, you know, his matches to get some emotion going, you know. So hopefully this is a start for something for him. Obviously, as you know, a heel. So that's what we need him as. We need him as a heel. Now, does Punk ask for a rematch, or you know, like,
or there was no Joe.
Right.
I wasn't really paying attention to the commentary so much because I don't know if there was any reference to Joe, but it was you know, some of the things we were thinking about last week that may have played a part in this match didn't really seem to.
Yeah. So hopefully it's later to come, so we can get some story behind this show to make you want to watch more episodes on it. So it's good that they left you with some sort of hanger at the end. So
right. And they seem to be really starting to lean in to this Malachi Black Andrade feud.
Okay, so that's going to become a thing.
Yeah.
All
but
right.
It's right now. I mean, outside of the conclusion of the Owen Hart tournament and the FTR BC Gold kind of stuff, that's the only thing that seems episodically over the last 4 or 5 weeks of the show,
right,
to be story driven.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're fighting over a stolen mask, but you know,
I heard, yeah,
Bret Hart fought a Quebecer over a stolen jacket for several months. So
there's money to be made.
So, do you want to talk about Ibushi?
Yeah, I don't know. Like this is where I feel like they're not thinking bigger picture,
Right.
because
Well,
they're introducing Ibushi right into like a main event match with no build at all, with no hype video, like I mean, I know that there was one, but you know what I mean? Like debuting a character weeks, if not months before him being put into the main event, I don't know. I feel like it's flat. Only their handful of fans, like the 800,000 diehards, are going to know, like, oh, cool, Ibushi, he's going to do a moonsault or two and do his things that we've seen him do. And then that's it. He's just another guy in a match.
Well, to that point, they expect us to already know who Ibushi is.
Right.
And if you say that to their fan base, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you say, well, I'm not familiar with Kota Ibushi.
Right.
Their response is going to be, well, it takes 10 seconds to Google somebody. They think, by and large, the AEW fan base thinks that they shouldn't have to explain things, and that if we don't know things, if a casual doesn't know things, that they should be smart enough to look it up and find out.
Right.
Instead of having the production or the commentators explain to us, which is the whole, point of their job and the whole point of putting together promotional videos. But we're dipshits because we didn't Google it.
Right. And that's the thing is like, that's what I'm saying. Like you sign what's going to be a main event star, an international main event star at that, right? So like, from a business perspective, let's look at it like, he's got to move here, I assume, to work.
Now, hold on. Do we know if there's like an actual contract here, or is this just he's coming over to work a couple shots?
Oh, I don't know. I thought that, didn't Tony Khan do the whole he's all elite now?
Yeah, but he did that for Stu Grayson also, and I haven't seen him in 3 months.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I know Kota Ibushi was looking for a home because his New Japan contract had run out, and then he was looking to sign with, I think Noah, Pro Wrestling Noah had approached him with like a huge offer he turned down. So I'm assuming that he signed with AEW. So I don't know, man. Like it's just dumb the way they like you said, expect you to just do all this research. When I went to WWE and I was doing darks when they were building Alberto Del Rio every week before, remember, he actually showed up. So I was at the arena when they played the vignette live, or like on SmackDown, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember fans just listening to the music and seeing the logo, and they just started booing, so they're already conditioned to know, like, this guy hadn't even stepped foot in the ring yet, but all of a sudden, like, they know that he's the heel, right? So when he comes out, he'll get himself over in the match, and then whatever he goes into feels bigger. Like, they could have did that with Ibushi, or something like that. Maybe nowadays it's everybody wants it too fast, but they could have did this 3 weeks out at least. Mm-hmm. He's coming, and then boom, there's his match. It's the main event of War Games, or whatever they're calling it, backyard brawls. But
I believe it's Blood and Nuts. Blood and Guts.
Nuts. Yeah. Bloody Nuts.
Bloody Nuts. Somebody's going to get Bloody Nuts. But speaking of it, Pac Pac is going to be the fifth man for the Blackpool Combat Club, which does that give? I'm looking right now to see what part of England he's from, to see if that gives them back their Blackpool street cred.
Street cred.
Because I'm not sure, but
is he like Leeds? I think.
He is from Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle. That's right.
Newcastle upon Tyne, England. That doesn't sound like Blackpool to me.
No.
What do you feel about his involvement in this?
Well, I'm a big fan of Pac, but I'm glad he's back. He's by far the best wrestler all the way around there. I mean, by far. If anyone watched any of his Neville heel run, they understand. And as a wrestler, you should understand like how good he is. Like he can do everything and does it well. So I'm glad he's back in there. And I had figured he would be coming back sooner than later because of Wembley.
Right.
I saw him on the poster, like their very first advertisement of Wembley. I saw him on the poster, so I assumed he was going to be back soon. Yeah, he's just a beast of a wrestler. So I'm glad he's back. Maybe they'll do Pac and Ibushi. That'll be cool.
That would be cool. I don't know. Has that ever been a thing before?
I'm not sure if they did it in a Super Juniors. If so, it was probably like a 10-minute spot fest style match. But if you did heel Pac against babyface Ibushi and did it right, man, that could be. Maybe that's what'll be at Wembley. That'll be awesome.
I mean, it works. He has singles. I know he's beat Omega at least once in AEW, if not twice.
Yeah, so, they were doing the Iron Man matches, right?
Yeah, they were doing. They had some really great matches. I think Pac is fantastic. Hang on one second.
He fucked up and pushed the wrong button, so now I'm talking all by myself.
Yep, here I am.
Yep, he fixed it.
I said, this kid, man, I'm going to end up doing this show from like the basement or the tree outside the window to get the Wi-Fi. But anyway, the only thing that frustrates me about Pac is every time he goes up for that flippity-doo, he stands up like he's never stood on the top rope before. You ever notice that? It's
he takes his sweet-ass time.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not really too sure about this. And then you're like, oh, is this guy okay up there? And then he does the most ridiculous-looking shit you've ever seen in your life. Which is like, I don't know. I feel like that's some JD kind of shit. Like, I don't know how to do this. Oh, look, I'm perfect.
Yeah.
So, but after Wembley, which we all know is August 27th this year, right?
Yep.
September 3rd, the United Center, Chicago.
Chicago again?
All Out 2023.
Dude, are they just trying to burn Chicago out here?
I don't know. They draw in Chicago. They're never, as long as CM Punk's around, they're going to.
I was going to say they have a draw from Chicago. Yes. All right.
So
how's catering when those two camps are around? Is it like take turns? Is it like the Yucks can go eat now and then Punk and friends, or do they just bring food to Punk's bus? Yeah.
I'd like to think that just CM Punk shows up with food for him and whoever he likes.
Whoever he likes.
Right?
I could see that, yeah.
He's got 11 people in his bus, and he's brought enough food for them.
from his bus from his house in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah. AJ Lee's just kind of, she's bringing food down.
Yeah.
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 But I just,
Chicago. Yeah, I don't know. They gotta reset Chicago at some point, and Canada after this loop, I'm sure.
yeah.
But oh yeah, well they're not getting it in the winter, so they got to get all their commitments in this summer. So
Yeah. And have you seen any of this stuff on Twitter where like none of these guys can get on plane to get out of to get out of Canada?
no,
They're
why
all
are they?
like perpetually stuck in Canada.
Oh
Flights
no,
are getting canceled, and because
why?
Canada's still on fire, I think.
Oh, that's right.
And all I'm seeing on Twitter is AEW wrestlers like "fuck you, Delta," like they're all just losing it.
That's hilarious.
They're stuck up there, but dude, I still don't think. I don't think running Wembley and then Chicago the next week.
Not good. Not good. I mean, I know it'll do well attendance wise. I mean, as long as you got Punk and something that they're going to care about, is this going to be Punk and Joe? Oh wait, they just did that for the tournament. But if Joe heats it up going into this,
Right.
they could do well. They got to have Punk with the right opponent in that town. If not, that crowd will shit all over it. So
I'm wondering if they're going to be offering pay-per-view packages.
For both?
Yeah.
That's a possibility. I was thinking about that. Like you get access to both if you buy $100 Wembley show or something, probably.
I can't see.
Yeah.
I know I'm hung up on it, but I can't see them expecting people to spend the $50 2 nights in a row or 2 weekends in a row.
I mean, it's possible.
10 hours of programming.
Yeah, it's possible, but I know that they're doing that like Starcast is going to be that weekend too for that show, right?
Right.
Because I heard, Conrad talking about they were going to do one starting Wednesday. So it's like Wembley and then just go right to Chicago and be there all week.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. It's a lot for all those people to pay for because they're all the same fans. They're those hardcore wrestling fans that are gonna buy the Wembley show for sure, and then they're gonna do all that shit all week and then buy another pay-per-view. Seems like a lot.
Do you think we can get press passes for the media scrum?
Yeah. Ask the hard questions.
I got a few questions I'd like to ask.
Yeah, I'm sure those are in the mail.
Yeah. If they listen to 10 minutes of one of our shows, they wouldn't even sell us tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I feel like we've covered everything we kind of wanted to get through this week. What about you?
Yeah, and also the Pillman situation was interesting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I always thought he kind of stuck out like a sore thumb there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he's gone for good reason because NXT's looking at bringing that in. So
yeah,
hopefully he takes some time and get some. If he does maybe the rest of this year on the independents, and then they get him in there in January would be good because he needs some more. It's just annoying to me how they sign certain guys AEW and then they don't let them get their own reps in to get better. So when they repackage them a year from now, they've made leaps and bounds, but something besides, this guy did cardio for a year, obviously, right. Like they got to get better in the ring. And I don't even think he did any of those house show loops anyways, and even if he did, it didn't seem like he wasn't doing anything meaningful, that's for sure. So hopefully WWE gets him in there maybe January. Let him run the independents, you know, and
bring him in to start a year.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like there was a missed opportunity on AEW's part when Brian Pillman Dark Side of the Ring aired.
Absolutely.
I feel like there was a missed opportunity when you had Brock Anderson, Arn Anderson, and him there.
Oh man, yeah.
They could have done a lot with Brian Pillman.
Well, again,
good. He works.
AEW they don't know what they're doing, creative wise. You know, some guys might have ideas, and if you're not seasoned already, like a Jay White and Juice Robinson and FTR type guys, it's hard for those guys to go out there and get over in a match. Right. They don't understand how to do that. And you have amateur bookers trying to write television, and they're not, you know, introducing talent right. Even when they do it right or get a big reaction off a debut, what does it matter? Because 3 months from now, it means nothing.
Yeah.
Or you're vanished off TV for no explanation. With no explanation, it's ridiculous. You know, it's bad.
I almost feel like the worst thing that can happen to you there is you can have part of an idea.
Yes.
I feel like if you present them with the germ of an idea before fleshing it out, they're just going to start, but they don't know what's next, and then you're dead in the water.
Right. From getting booked, right? I understand that. But like if you're good in the ring and you know how to get yourself over every night you're on TV, something will come up there. I mean, you would think, you know, that, or they would keep you on television at least to keep you doing that. And then something will, you know, spark from that. But a lot of these guys, you know, are good, but they just don't know how to get themselves over in matches where they're maybe even just losing every week or something, or, you know, they're just going in there doing things for the sake of doing them, or thinking like, oh, if we do this stupid exchange of no selling certain things, we'll get a reaction, and it's not true. So,
yeah, well, you know, they might not be spending enough time with their hands in their pockets.
That's true.
Anyway, my list of topics, I'm all through. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. That was a kind of a shitty week, but stupid things happen.
I mean, there were things that happened, but nothing happened for the things that happened.
Then the things that did happen.
They announced Chicago, right? But we don't even know what's happening at Wembley.
Right. And then the things that did happen, we kind of predicted there would happen. Mm-hmm. And even with that happening, it wasn't anything.
It didn't make a wave.
No, it just.
No waves were made.
No, nobody has any kind of good momentum or, oh man, I can't wait for, you know, bloodline level curiosity of what could happen. The only thing I'm curious about, I guess, would be the direction that they send Starks in going into Wembley and All Out. You know, hopefully as a heel, but you got to put some steam behind them. And I mean, I don't know, when your world champion is like the top heel in wrestling or in the company, at least, where does Starks fall now? You know, I mean, looking forward, you know, so I don't know.
Well, it's not just them. Between both companies, there's like 15 hours of content this week.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And nothing's really happening except for, you know, the Ibushi and the Pac for Blood and Guts. But I don't really think outside of their hardcore fan base, anybody gives a shit. I could be honest with you. I like his matches. I think his matches are great. Yeah. I could give a shit about Kota Ibushi.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't get you to care that he's coming, he's here, he's arrived. This is what he'll be at. They didn't do any of that. They just expect you to know these things and be happy with it. And then, you know, okay, if you got a good reaction in the building, what does that tell you? Man, imagine if we would have built this shit up and made it meaningful, but they didn't.
Right.
And now he's just going to go out there and do moonsaults and kick people and make funny faces in the match because he thinks American wrestling is a joke anyways. So he's just out there playing grab ass with his friends.
In a 10-man garbage match.
That's what I'm saying. It's like none of this should have been much bigger issue, and it was not. Then the bigger issues that they had in front of them and they were doing didn't really mean shit. And how many, what are we, over a month out from Wembley, right?
Yep. Just over.
I mean, come on, man. You gotta start heating guys up right now. You have to, it's crazy. And then how do you book back-to-back weekend pay-per-views like that? Are you booking just for one? Is each pay-per-view going to be one? Is one going to be a Collision pay-per-view? Is one going to be a Dynamite pay-per-view?
Have you ever 1 month before WrestleMania not known anything that was going to be on the card?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it all starts at the Rumble, and we start building from there. I mean, the card is pretty much at least 5-6 matches of WrestleMania matches are advertised 2 months, 3 months at least. Come on, man. This is complete amateur bullshit, I don't know. And then bringing in Ibushi that way, that just bothered me. Like the same way it bothered me when they brought Jay White in that way, and then it bothered me when they brought Roddy in that way. I mean,
they brought Jeff Hardy in that way.
Right. Like, let's just do run-ins. What's my big debut? Oh, just running in this match.
Yeah. We're 15 weeks into this podcast, and we've had this conversation about a run-in debut 4 times.
They don't know what they're doing.
That's almost once a month.
They don't know what they're doing. That's the problem.
Somebody should. That's the actual problem is somebody there does.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's people there that know what should be done, but when you're getting free money from a money mark, you just kind of, I'm sure you just bite down on your lip and like, all right, well, that's how we'll do it, and just move along, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It's you can't even say they don't know what they're doing. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He doesn't know what he's doing. That's the problem.
Well, that's our spot. Here we are.
Thanks for nothing, Tony Khan, you stupid fuck.
You fuck. Oh, Christ. All right, Ricky, it's been a pleasure as always, man. And motherfuckers, we'll catch you on the next time around. I'm going to buy some time to run the gimmick.